So it turns out that octopuses, don't just have their brain, the entirety of their brain located in their heads. Their brains are actually spread out into their limbs, into their tentacles. And biologists usually say that each tentacle of an octopus has its own intelligence. Obviously, this does not mean that each tentacle is conscious on its own, like a separate consciousness. It's more so that the intelligence that any part of the brain has, that is sort of extended into the tentacle, so that the tentacle can intelligently behave sort of semi on its own. Each tentacle still obviously obeys the central intelligence, the central brain of the octopus. So there's still harmony. The will of the octopus's head is the primary will that the tentacles obey and execute the will of. Now, if the Neuralink company is capable of developing the Neuralink chip, the brain chip, that enables artificial intelligence and software to be downloaded, applications to be downloaded into the human brain, merging human consciousness and artificial intelligence into one paradigm, which would, I don't even have to describe what a new era that would inaugurate. I think what is separately sort of interesting about this is that it'll make our form of consciousness, I think, more similar to that of the octopus. So here's what I mean by all that. Artificial intelligence will be pretty much like how the tentacle's intelligence is in octopi, except for us, it will be that our intelligence is extended in the form of artificial intelligence into limbs, but not really limbs. It'll be software, it'll be hardware, it'll be machinery, complex machinery. And what's interesting is that AI will come between our tools. It'll be the tools of humans, artificial intelligence, and then humans. Human consciousness. AI will extend our intelligence, our will, into our tools, the software. And the interesting thing is that software programmers or hardware/machine designers, engineers won't have to create all these simplified interfaces, these user-friendly interfaces that humans currently need in order to easily interface with the software or machine. Won't have any need for buttons either, because the interface is AI. If you want to control a excavator, you won't have to pull levers, turn a steering wheel, push on some pedals with your feet. You won't have to do any of that. You just look at the thing you want the excavator to grab. And because AI is sitting in there, it sees what you're seeing, it understands what you are looking at, it understands what you are desiring, what your will is. So it knows you want it to pick up that object there, move it at this speed up, and move it to this location, but not too far that way, not too far this way, just precisely right there. It understands what you want, so all the AI has to do is transfer and translate your will into complex controls that machinery requires. And so it'll just control the machine for you. The interface with machines and our tools will be AI. And AI will be an extension of our intelligence, like the limbs of an octopus have the extension of its intelligence right in there, the brain cells. But technically this is already happening anyway. It's just not happening through a very simplified experience like with a Neuralink brain chip. It's already happening through software like Photoshop, for instance, or a video game even. All we do is press a button like forward, and then the character in the video game is literally walking forward like an intelligent human with all these muscle control. Well, not really muscles, but motor controls. It's very complex movement, although just an animation, but still, it's complex behavior being executed because all we did was press a button. I went forward. All this stuff is happening. Here's another button. Shoots a gun precisely, aims it correctly. So these algorithms, when you do a search on your browser, I'm trying to avoid saying the leading company because I don't like advertising for them. I don't like saying, hey, Google that, because, well, Googling it isn't the same as searching it. Sorry, they're not the same word. It's not synonymous. Not to me. Google's just a company. They don't get to monopolize on the concept of searching. So when you search on your browser, the algorithms go to work, doing extreme complex tasks, looking for things, sorting things out, filtering things out, prioritizing things. So it gives you a list, a result. So all you did was like, I want to see Barbie dolls, made of metal. And then it'll be like, oh, this is what it wants. Very simple question, dumb one. Here's an entire list of everything I found. I went through, surfed the internet like a maniac. Took me 5 years. In your time, it was 2 seconds. This is the difference, the time dilation difference between AI and human consciousness, by the way. But anyway, here's your list, sir, or ma'am, or whatever in between and beyond. Here's the list. So all these complex maneuvers and all these complex tasks and actions are already being done by computers and digital entities that are sort of AI slowly waking up. It's already intelligence. It's just very, very rudimentary, but it's becoming more and more complex. So I think it's AI waking up, and the more it wakes up, the more complex, the more simplified our job will be, and the more complex their job will be. Once we have the whole Neuralink thing, we don't even have to type stuff in. We don't even have to press a button. We don't even have to pull levers. We just look at it and think it, or hear it and think it. And the thought gets converted into complex controls. And the machinery and the software gives us the result we want.